Google back in the hot seat, facing serious legal troubles after 4 attorneys general launched a lawsuit against the big tech giant for secretly tracking users who changed their privacy settings. Joining us right now to break it all down, cybersecurity and privacy law attorney Leeza Garber and author of the new book, Can, Trust, Will, Hiring for the Human Element in the New Age of Cybersecurity. Leeza, great to see you as always. Good morning to you.
Great to see you, Jan. Good morning.
Washington, D.C.'s Attorney General Karl Racine leading the charge after this 3-year investigation. Now, in this lawsuit, it claims Google misled users about these privacy protections. So break this down for us. What is Google being accused of, and what do you make of these lawsuits?
These are serious allegations on a real surveillance state that Google has set forth for consumers. And the problem that we see in this lawsuit is an allegation that even if users on an Android operating system toggled off for location tracking, they were still being tracked on a different setting, which was web and apps under Google. This is problematic because consumers are supposed to have a proactive choice to determine whether they want to be tracked or not. Google advocates for consumer rights and privacy, as they say in their advertisements, but still they're making huge amounts of money by gaining that location data. So this is some investigation that's gone on for some time. It stemmed from an AP report dating back to 2018, and Google's saying these claims are outdated, but in reality, we're seeing this lawsuit move forward.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's take a look at what Google's saying right now, because they did respond to this lawsuit. Here's their quote. The attorneys general are bringing a case based on inaccurate claims and outdated assertions about our settings. We have always built privacy features into our products and provided robust controls for location data. We will vigorously defend ourselves and set the record straight. So tell me more about these privacy settings in question, because it seems like this is not a gray area. Either they did or they didn't.
It's a little vague because there are so many ways that Google can attempt to track us, because that's how they make their bread and butter. It's through advertising. So we're talking about on a device level for Android operating systems. If you toggled off for location tracking, there was another setting that you actually had to look to toggle off as well, which was web and app use. And this is a problem not just for Android users, but for every type of cell phone user and everyone who's on social media. And it's not just a Google problem. It's purposefully vague because location data, any personal data, is especially valuable. And when we see these services, quote unquote, free to use, we're actually paying in our data. Right. So this is really should be an eye-opening experience for consumers as well.
And it makes you wonder too, if this is the new currency, data is the new currency, who owns it? Who's regulating it? And this also adds to the mounting criticism associated with these big tech platforms. How do you foresee this latest lawsuit impacting legislation currently making its way through Congress, Leeza?
Great points, Jan. And it's important to underscore this entire conversation by saying big tech has done amazing things for how we operate in daily life, right? You can't overstate the significance of having these technological advantages. At the same time, the consumer rights we really have to fight for, because now we're trying to claw them back. Look, right now we're seeing data as a hugely valuable asset. We see it in how companies operate with their advertising budgets and everything else. It's not just tech giants like Google and Apple, but it's also social media like Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram and then Twitter as well. So we see legislation moving through the Senate, and it's taking a long, long time. 2022 looks like it's going to be a pivotal year. We saw huge debates last week on big tech bills, but these things move at a glacial pace. As we can see just with this Google lawsuit, investigations took place back in 2018. These things take a long time to move through the courts, and tech moves much, much faster than the laws. So consumers need to be aware of how to protect themselves now, because the law is not protecting them just yet.
Yeah, and in the meantime, this is also bringing a lot of awareness to people, and they want to know what they can do to make sure their privacy is not being taken advantage of. So what should consumers do to protect themselves? And also, what are you keeping an eye on when it comes to this case?
When we look at privacy in general, some people will say, especially the younger set, well, I don't care. Social media is fantastic. If they want to take some of my data, that's fine. But even if we just look at tracking data, which is at the heart of this case, location tracking, you can find out so much from someone's location data. Where they go means their relationship status, their religious affiliation, potentially their health status. You can build an entire persona on someone based on just location data. So it's important to be proactive about privacy settings. This lawsuit should highlight that you don't need to just look in one place to toggle on or off. Companies make this specifically hard to understand. You have to go to every single setting and make sure it's what you want and understand what you're giving away when you use these sites. So hopefully we'll see this lawsuit progress. We'll see the evidence, but at this point, it looks like Google's going to have to change some of its behaviors.
All right, this is great insight, Leeza. Always eye-opening to talk to you. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Jan.